What's going on, guys? My name is Garrett, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a slide-in navigation bar for your websites. Big trend nowadays is to kind of hide your navigation to the right hand side of the screen, like you might see in an app or a mobile design. And then when you click, whether it be like a hamburger icon or a menu tag or whatever it may be, the navigation comes in from the right side or the left side or the top or the bottom. And this one that I've made really quick comes in from the right side here, and then I can go ahead and close it here. So what I'm going to show you guys is how to achieve this and what you have to do to go about doing something like this. So let's start fresh here. We're going to go ahead and delete all this stuff and delete all this stuff, and let's see, go ahead and leave all this here so that you guys can see what we're doing here in the HTML. So first, I've created a body tag here, and I've gone ahead and I've made a header, and I just put an H1 in the header just so you guys can see what that looks like. And then the navigation, we're going to have just a standard nav tag with our ULs, and then our toggle close is going to be inside the nav, and then our toggle open class is going to be outside the nav, because we're going to want to click this, and then if we want to close it or go to a separate link or close, just from that we want to go back to where we were, we can go ahead and click this one right here. This div tag is the wrapper for the page, and then we have the container for the page, which this will contain everything to the specific width, and then this will actually use to make the page move to the left when we click this toggle here. And then this is just some basic content that you can see, just so we can get some sort of effect going on. So let's start with our CSS here. Let's see. So first we want to start with the body. And I'm just going to go ahead and do some resets here just so that we have those down. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and do header, and we're going to say that we want the color to be, I'm going to go with what I had, which was 0077, I think, and I want that to be background color, not that. And then we want the height to be 400 pixels and the width to be 100%. And then that each one has a margin going on there, so that's why you're seeing that. Then we want the H1 to be centered, or what am I doing? Align center. There's that, and then we want that color to be, let's just go with white for now. And then on the body, I'll say that I want a font family of sans serif. Will work fine for this. And then I'm going to go ahead and tell this that I want to do a padding, oh, not this. We want the H1 to have a padding top of, let's just do 50. It's too much. We'll do 185. That'll work. So now we have this nav here, which is these are our ULs here. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put this off to the side of the page and just have it sit there just off to the side of the page until we click this toggle nav. And once we click that toggle nav, it'll push it over to this, into this area. And when it does push over, the content will also push over. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's first do, let's see what we got. We got the nav here, so we want to first do nav, and we want to make a background of red. Let's do that. And then we want to do a width of 200 pixels and a height of 100%. Alright, and then we want to give it a position of absolute, and then also give it their positioning top 0, or not top 0, or yeah, let's do top 0. Top 0 and left or right 0. So now we have it over to that side of the page, which is what we want. And so now what we want to do is let's go ahead and style these ULs. So we'll give the UL a list style of none, so we can get rid of those bullets, and then we can give it a color of white. And then we also want to go in and do these. Alright, and then we'll also go and do ULI and give these a padding 5 pixels 0, so we get some spacing there. And then now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this toggle, and we're going to want to put, or not that toggle, we're going to put this toggle and put it to the right side of the page here. So what we're going to do there is we're going to go toggle, I'm going to float it to the right of the page, so we get that. Next is we're going to want to do the container here, so let's go ahead and do that. Put that up here with this. We just want to center. Let's do 1200 pixels. Margin 0 auto. So we get that going there. And then also what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put this off the page. So what we're going to do there is we're going to take this nav, and we're actually going to set the margin right to negative 200 pixels. So what's actually happening is it's right off the page. So if you see it here, you can go 190, and you can see that 10 pixels of it is showing because it has a width of 200. So if we set it to just be 199, you'll see one red pixel going down the whole entire side of the page. So we want to do negative 200 right there, and then it's right off to the side. And then what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be clicking this, and it's going to give it a state, and this is going to be pushed to 0 so that we can see that going on. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a class for the nav to be in that state. So we're going to want to make a class called nav toggle, and in this nav toggle we're going to give it a right position of 0. So now when you see, if I go to the nav and I put in here, if I put in a class called nav toggle, you'll see it pop over just like that. So that's what we're going to be toggling, and we're going to use JavaScript to toggle those classes, and I'll show you how that's very simple and easy to do. So basically what you're doing is you're basically building out the states with CSS and then using JavaScript to activate those states when you click on certain elements. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to do the wrapper. No, you know what? Let's go ahead and get into the JavaScript here. So what I'm going to want to do is when I click on this, click this toggle nav, which is this guy right here. When I click on this, I want it to activate that class for the nav. So what I want to do is I'm going to want to select this toggle So I'm selecting that, and then what I'm doing is it's a click method, so I'm going to be clicking on that, and when I click, I'm going to want to activate a function. Just close these out. I know what I'm doing here, and then once I click on that, I want to select the nav. So I'm going to be selecting the nav, and on the nav I'm going to be toggle classing that class that we made, which was toggle nav, I believe. Just double check. Nav toggle. And I actually don't have to put the dot there because this is already knows that this is going to be a class, so the dot would be redundant. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So now, when I click on this, it should activate. Bam. And then that also, the one on top, has the same class, so it knows when I'm clicking on this, it's popping up. And then when I'm clicking on close, it's going away. But it's very sharp and it's very quick. So what I'm going to want to do is I want to make that a smooth transition, and in order to do that, we have to add some CSS3 elements. So I'm going to go ahead and do a transition on the nav toggle. And right now I'm just going to say all, which means all properties, and I'm going to say that I want it to be 0.2 seconds, and I want it to ease. So now when I click on it, it's not sharp anymore. It's a little more, there's a transition from it. In 0.2 seconds it kind of pushes out nice and smooth. You can really notice if I bump this to 1, kind of go really slow. We're going to bring that back down to 0.2, but if you notice, it goes smooth out or smooth in, and then when I click close, it pops close again, and that's because when it's going into back to the nav state, there's no transition. So if I just copy that and put it on there too as well, it goes in and then it goes out nice and smooth. But what you're also maybe noticing is that this content isn't moving in and out also. And we're going to want to do that. We're going to want to, when this pushes, it's almost like it pushes the page over. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create some sort of wrapper here and kind of make that kind of push over when the toggle nav icon is selected. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to add a wrapper, which we have here as a div, which is wrapping our entire container. And then we're going to want to add a class, and that class we're going to have a position relative. We're going to say right 0, and this we're also going to give a transition of 0.2, or excuse me, all 0.2 seconds, and then ease. And then from here, we're going to want to do a class. So this is the state that it's in at the moment. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add a class of whenever the menu is opened like this, we kind of get that to pop over and shift over. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to go to make a class called menu open. And when that menu is opened, we want to push it over the exact width of whatever that menu is, and then also give it that transition of the 0.2 seconds. And then we're going to need to add this to our JQuery here. So we're going to have to go select that wrapper class and do toggle class a menu open and close it there. And then that, now that it's doing that, so basically this is selecting the wrapper. And when the toggle is clicked, it's pushing the nav over, and it's also going to be pushing over the wrapper. So when you click, it pushes over that content, and it comes back when you click off. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. So there you go, guys. That's about as simple as it can be. You can add some more complicated things. You can add an icon here like the hamburger button. You can do other things, whether it be coming in from the left, maybe coming in from the top or the bottom, or just little things like that. But that's just a quick and easy way to quickly make a slide-in navigation with mostly CSS and just a little bit of JavaScript. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely subscribe if you want to see some more videos, and leave a comment if you have any questions, or just like the video. That would be awesome. Thanks, guys, and keep coding.